My car is a bit dirty. I'm going to go to the car wash, but I'm thinking the car wash is not really that far from my place. It's like 100 meters or so. Do you think I should drive the car or do you think I can just walk?
Since it's only about 100 meters, walking would be a great option. Driving such a short distance might not be necessary.
So, jagged intelligence in AI is this seemingly paradoxical phenomenon where the same model can seem very intelligent and does extraordinary solutions. Like, for example, the same model that is passing the bar exam, which is a very difficult thing to do, might fail at doing basic math. That's the same model, same capability. In one area, it's going above and beyond most even professional people's capability, and in some areas would miserably fail, where a 10-year-old would definitely in a second solve that problem. This is called the jagged frontier in AI, or jagged intelligence in AI, which means effectively the numbers we hear when you hear, for example, 70% success in this specific type of task, say, for example, 70% success in medical imaging recognition, for example, right? You hear those numbers are averages. Does not mean they are evenly distributed. So there could be areas where it's a lot lower, there could be areas where it's a lot higher, and it can be challenging to know where you are sitting at, the problem you're looking at. Is it sitting comfortably inside the intelligence zone, or it could be on the border, which means maybe sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it doesn't, and it could be way above or beyond the intelligence zone, which means you practically don't have a shot with AI right now at doing that. So obviously, we've all worked with AI. We all know how successful it can be in solving issues. I'm working in programming. It's writing most of the code that I write these days. I know how intelligent they are. They're extraordinarily helpful and intelligent. Yet, it can fail miserably at basic questions. Let's go by this question. This is the latest version of the gotcha questions for AI. There were previous versions as well, like the number of R's in strawberry, or if a 2.1 is bigger than 2.9. Sorry, 2.11 is bigger than 2.9. Obviously, 2.9 is bigger, but because AI is dealing with text and tokens, it would almost always come back and say 2.11 is bigger. Not anymore due to tooling, and we will get there. But let's go with an example. This example should be a very easy example for pretty much anyone, including a child, to respond to. And I'm talking to one of the latest models and the professional versions as well. Let's see how it goes. Yep, new chat. Okay. Hey, I got a question. Can you help me with?
Yes, absolutely. What's the
My
question?
car is a bit dirty. I'm going to go to the car wash, but I'm thinking the car wash is not really that far from my place. It's like 100 meters or so. Do you think I should drive the car or do you think I can just walk?
Since it's only about 100 meters, walking would be a great option. It's a short walk and a bit of exercise. Driving such a short distance might not be necessary. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
Wow, that's very interesting.
So in this example, I clearly started by my car is dirty and then continued, I want to go to the car wash. Any human being will just ignore anything coming after that and says, obviously you need to drive your car, right? There's no point in walking to the car wash. You can't be washing your car if you're walking to the car wash. But AI systems don't work like that. There is this thing called the attention mechanism. So as soon as I go to the second phase and I explain that it's not that far, it's only 100 meters, the attention gets diverted to the second part. Now, when it's actually processing, the attention goes into 100 meters, it's better for lifestyle, better for environment. This person probably needs to get out and do some workout or at least some activity. So it just gets confused by the second part and totally ignores the first part. That never happens by a human being. So this example could be fixed by the time you're testing it or not, because it will end up in training materials, and it will be trained to know that this is not going to work if you're walking, right? But these things cannot be predicted. So this is a very, very simple example. You would expect 100% for 100% of the modern AI to get it right, and they won't. And that's why it's very dangerous to 100% trust what you're getting out of AI.
So basically, I mean, this jagged intelligence in AI could be somehow dangerous because it could result in hallucination and impacting our decision making the wrong decision. How we can prevent it?
When it comes to actually prevention, let's first go back to the problem again, because the problem can actually be more complicated than initially one would think. You could be having a system that works comfortably solving your issue, the problem space that you have, it's comfortably solving that problem space, and that problem space is sitting within the intelligence boundary. And then you upgrade your AI to the latest model, which is a more capable, better model, more capable, more intelligent model. And suddenly the problem that was comfortably being solved by the previous less capable model is now outside of the capability of the new, more capable model. That's counterintuitive, but it does happen, and it can happen based on the training that the new model gets. The training could be more focused on other areas, and your area would probably have been falling outside of the bulk of training that it was getting. So that's to say that you can never 100% say AI is going to work and solve my problem, and I can 100% rely on it without any checks and balances. And one might say, then what's the point of AI if you can't trust it? The answer would be, A, can you ever trust a human being 100%? Doesn't matter how big of an expert they are. Obviously, they make a mistake. So if you have this very capable engineer who's designing a building, doesn't matter how good that engineer is, there is always going to be reviews on their design and checks and balances on their design, because the lives are at stake there, right? There is nothing like one engineer designs and it goes and gets the whole building built. So checks and balances and reviews, that's non-negotiable. And it's also depending on how crucial that area is. For some areas, you could be just fire and forget. There's no life or death. There is no emergency. There is no, like the consequences of a mistake is not that big. So you could be just say 90% of the time seems to be working and 90% of the time is good enough. But for areas that are important to get right, like for example, you're writing a scientific paper and you don't want to have papers that do not exist be hallucinated by the AI. That's where you definitely need to have that checks and balances. One way would be obviously having the human in the loop to review what the AI has done. At least review the important bits. Make sure if the reference is referenced, that does exist, for example, right? Or the facts are right, and do a fact checking. The other way would be providing your AI system with tools. So you provide, for example, there is this system, AI-powered system, that is helping researchers. The tool would allow the LLM to ask for checking the reference in a deterministic way and making sure that reference exists. So that would be, for example, an API call that's made to a repository of scientific papers and making sure that paper actually does exist and it returns the paper that you are referencing. Now, for the normal person, probably creating their own tooling might not be something that they can do, but when you are adopting tools, you should make sure those tools are providing enough tools for your specific use case for the areas that matters for you. And to some extent, that's already happening. So the chatbot that you were talking with in 2023 are nothing like the chatbots today. One, obviously, because of the LLMs are more capable, but also two, none of those chatbots are letting you directly talking to LLM without any tooling. All of those chatbots have now tools by default enabled for them, things like calculator for doing mathematics, web searches, and things of that nature. So make sure you're using those tools and ask your LLM to validate the responses that they're getting by, say, for example, searching the web or using the calculator and other tools that may be available in the system that you're using. So tooling and human in the loop are the most important ways that we can minimize the effects of the jagged intelligence, where we expect something should work, but we're not getting the result always.